And I thought, wow, that's amazing, because I felt it so strongly from within me. It was
Mhm.
like somebody who was looking out for me was literally saving me, was saying, hey, you're okay. It's going to be fine. This isn't even true.
Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. And welcome everybody to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast Show. I am so grateful. We have Joshua Bloom in the house today. Oh my goodness. We are so grateful that we have him here today. He is a very sought after speaker and transformational leader, I want to say. I don't know. I mean, quantum transformational leader, that is. So we're really looking forward to having. If you're an intuitive, if you're an empath, if you get the vibes and you get overwhelmed by them, and you have anxiety, if you have any of these things, or you have incurable conditions, etc., you have got to listen to this show, because it can, and I want to say it will, change your life. It's going to absolutely make a difference for you, because Joshua helps with all these things. And so I'm just so grateful. I can't wait to hear what he's got to share, to tell you the truth. So he's been definitely make a big impact with his book, with his products, with his just sharing in the world, all the wisdom he has to share, and all his healing energy he emits. There's so many frequencies encoded in everything he does. And so you're going to be picking up on that as well during this show today. So, Joshua, it's just such a delight to have you on the show today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. It's going to be quite fun, I'm sure.
Absolutely. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share with you a bit more about him. As an internationally acclaimed authority on quantum transformation and a #1 best-selling author, Joshua Bloom invites you to experience the extraordinary. World-renowned scientist and best-selling author Bruce H. Lipton, Ph.D., starred in Joshua's groundbreaking movie and now has contributed the foreword to Joshua's #1 best-selling book. The ultimate answer is inside. Yes. Joshua has developed his own modality called quantum energy transformation that invites extraordinary light leaders and intuitives to go inside themselves to access the quantum field. Okay, now guys, we're really going to access the quantum field here, so just pay attention as we go through the show. Host of the upcoming TV show Quantum Portal 5D, Joshua has been featured on the front page of the Washington Post as one of the first coaches ever to be featured in mainstream media. He's the visionary behind the amazing QET pendants and tools that protect, strengthen, and empower lightworkers like never before by boosting your vibration, detaching entities, grounding your body, and supercharging your energy. And I can attest, it works, because I have the technology myself. So Joshua has ignited a movement within the spiritual communities, as well as telesummits, podcasts, and TV shows with his QET tools, celebrated for their transformative impact, offer lightworkers a chance to enhance their vibrational existence with energy frequencies that go way high, all the way to 10,000 hertz and beyond, exceeding 10,000 hertz. So Joshua has created a powerful library of programs to get fast results, very fast, profound results. He teaches a way of being called Being Quantum, a transformation process called Age Clearing, a Reiki modality named Being Reiki, and an allergy elimination process called Quantum Allergy Release. Joshua does what most people consider to be impossible, which means it's possible, right? So he assists clients in completely releasing ailments such as fibromyalgia, pain, anxiety, depression, allergies, eczema, rosacea. I got that one wrong. I think
Rosacea.
I thought I knew how to pronounce that, and more. Additionally, he trains students to transform themselves and to help others to do the same in his extraordinary certification program. All right, so you got it, right? There's a lot that he's bringing, a lot he's been bringing forth, and the first thing I'm really guided to talk about, though, is uh, you started at ground zero like everybody else. A nervous wreck, I want to say, based on what I hear in the book, and you know, looking for answers. Like so many of our listeners are looking for answers, and they don't know where to find them. They think they've gone to all the gurus, they've tried so many things. Some of them, and they're like, well, none of it's working, and all that stuff. And from what I understand from your story, it sounds like that was kind of you. I'd love to hear more about it, though. Like you've been an empath all your life. You've been picking up on stuff all your life. So tell us, when did you first notice that you have, you're an intuitive empathic type of person, and what your journey has been getting to where you are today?
Well, it was certainly a journey, that's for sure. I didn't know I was an empath until much later. I just thought
Mhm.
I was anxious. I thought I
Yeah.
was a mess. I thought I was having so much trouble. I remember I moved from New Jersey to the Washington, D.C. area many years ago. And shortly after that, I started to notice some anxiety showing up. And it just didn't get better. It really just got worse. It just kept escalating and escalating and escalating. And finally, that was like a 10-year experience of me being a mess. Something could happen or not happen. And all of a sudden I'm anxious and I don't know why.
Mm.
And when I was feeling that, I had to learn something. I had to learn something so I could be okay, because there were days that I couldn't even leave the house. I didn't feel okay. I mean, it was a good day when I could even just like open the door or open the window and look outside. Sometimes it was so bad. And that was a difficult time for me, to say the least. I didn't know that I was being attacked by entities at the time. Actually, I didn't even believe in entities, so I didn't think that was even a possibility or something that could happen to me. I even made an audio program later saying, oh, you won't get attacked by entities because they, just keep your energy good. And I realized that it's not all that simple. And I had lots of issues. And so I started to work at a hypnosis center during that time. And as I worked at the hypnosis center, I started to help people with all sorts of issues, including issues that I was dealing with. And their issues would melt away so quickly, it shocked me. People who would have things like fibromyalgia or pain. This lady had pain in her foot, and in one session, the pain was gone. It was
Mm.
it was like almost scary because I'm like, what's happening? Why is this? Why is this happening? I don't get it. I didn't really understand what was really happening behind it all, but I knew that the work that I was moving into was really changing lives. And I called it quantum energy transformation. And I started to teach quantum energy transformation to people in certification programs after I developed it. And then once I moved forward from there, I had another experience that was similar to the past experience of falling apart. And it was really difficult for me because when you feel so anxious, and sometimes you feel so anxious you feel like you're going to die. I mean, that's like a panic attack, right? So
Mhm.
I had several of those. I was having past life fears. Things were really really freaking me out, and
Mhm.
I didn't know if from one minute to the next if I was going to be okay. And then all of a sudden I met who I call my spirit guides, and they're called the travelers. And before I met the travelers, I actually took a spirit guide class to learn how to connect with my spirit guides. And I couldn't. I didn't really see any benefits at all with the spirit guides that the teacher was teaching me to connect with. And I thought, well, I have no connection. This isn't working at all. Until one day when I was trying to work on a fear of death issue that I had. I was scared of death. Interesting, an empath medium kind of person, scared of death because I really wasn't opened up fully at that time. And I was
Mhm.
really scared of it. So one of my coaches said, well, Joshua, you should go ahead and watch this video. And I think it will really make a difference for you. So I'm watching the video and I'm quite enjoying the beginning, but then all of a sudden it shifted very quickly. And as I'm watching the video, it's triggering me really badly, like super duper bad. And I'm wondering why my coach would even ask me to watch this video in the first place. So, when you're watching something that someone recommends, you kind of think, oh, well, somewhere in there it's going to be a good thing, and you're going to get the value and the benefit that they recommended
Mhm.
for you. No, not at all. Nothing like that happened. I watched to the end. I was so triggered. I didn't think that I could even deal with it. So I called a friend of mine and I said, I really need you to help me. I can't seem to resolve this on my own. It's too big. This video scared me, like big time. And so she called me, and I'm talking to her on the phone, and she's helping me, do what I know how to do, but she was and giving her energy into it a little bit too, because I need a little extra help that day. And
Mhm.
I finally got into my body. I got connected, and I was in a really great place of the beingness. And all of a sudden, she said truth. I don't know why she said the word truth. It just came out of her mouth. She said the word truth. And when she did, all of a sudden I heard someone say that he's lying, that the person in the video was literally lying. And I thought, wow, that's amazing, because I felt it so strongly from within me. It was
Mhm.
like somebody who was looking out for me was literally saving me, was saying, hey, you're okay. It's going to be fine. This isn't even true. And I realized, I told her, this isn't even true. Why am I scared then? So the fear literally left my body at that moment all the way. And that changed my life in the moment, because I knew that there was something inside of me that was guiding me. That was the first time in my life that I realized I had some kind of connection to something. So
Mhm.
then I called her again, and we met on the phone, and I started to work with her with this with this thing. I called it the truth thing at the time because I didn't know what else to call it. And all of a
Mhm.
sudden I was introduced to my spirit guides, and they were telling me, and as I was like, whatever I was speaking was coming out, but I wasn't the one speaking. And all
Mhm.
of a sudden what was being shared was that I was okay, and that I've been always guided, and they are my spirit guides. And that was like, wow, like really, really kind of fun and awesome. And so I told a friend of mine, she says, well, when are you going to write your book on that?
Right.
I'm like, yeah, no, I get it. I get it. There are lots of similar things, but this was kind of different because these spirit guides are not coming to me through what's called channeling. These spirit
Uh-huh.
guides are literally right here in the quantum field. So it's a
Mhm.
different kind of thing. So they've been guiding me in my classes, and they actually guided me to make a pendant, which you can see right here.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it is a pendant that really has changed my life, because what it did to start was it totally separated the entities from me. So I didn't have any more entity issues, which was the big problem that I was experiencing. And it wasn't that I couldn't clear them, I could, but anytime I would go out, they would attack again. So it was very
Mhm.
difficult. Or if they got in my house, that was really hard. And that's where the anxiety was really coming from. But I didn't realize it until I wore the pendant and realized, oh, that stopped. No
Mhm.
more of that.
Mhm.
Well, that was
Right.
cool because I had a tool that was going to help me. But this tool does so much more. It
Mhm.
also grounds you instantly when you put it on. So you put it on and you feel instantly grounded. And
Yes.
that was one of the things that my students were telling me. They said, Joshua, I'm so good at getting grounded like you taught me. However, when I'm upset or triggered or in an emotional, whatever, at that moment, I'm not so good at it. And I'm like, I know, I feel the exact same way until the pendants. And when the pendants came along, that's when I realized I could call upon the pendant in a situation that was stressful or overwhelming or anxiety ridden. And all of a
Mhm.
sudden, I would calm down and be okay. The best part about the pendants for me was when I noticed that when I got triggered, because as an empath, we get triggered all the time, I have to say.
Yes.
When you're an empath, you feel things that are happening in the world. You feel things from the spirit world. You feel things from people that are around you. You can even be in your house and feel things from across the street. It's just like, you never know
And
when you're
other
going to feel
universes and galaxies and everything.
it goes on, right?
Right,
All
right.
these places. So you never know when you're going to get your buttons pushed. So
Yes.
when I get my buttons pushed, unfortunately, it would take sometimes up to 8 hours to like move that trigger, to release it and not be plagued by it anymore. The pendants helped me do that in just 2 minutes.
Mm.
And so instead of like an 8 hour, breathing and transforming experience that I'm trying to release it, all of a sudden the pendants would just support me in my transformation right then and there. They just like jump in and help. And
Mm-hmm.
that was really cool because when you are in a place that you get triggered pretty badly, to the point where, oh my, this is going to be a big one. I hope it's not going to be 8 hours.
Right.
And and I get help to move forward. So the pendants really have some help, and also connected to the pendants are my spirit guides. So um, whether I'm wearing the pendants or anyone's wearing the pendants, they then can have access to my spirit guides who help them. And of course, it's quantum, right? So everybody gets, in a sense, gets their own spirit guides to work with when they get a pendant. So it's
Yeah.
nice to have that security, that help when you need it.
Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free meditate, make money meditation today.
Yes. Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And of course, I'm wearing mine as well today. So appreciate that. And yeah, I tend to be this. I get like people, my family members always are like, cut it out. So we'll go to different things like fairs and stuff. And you probably have been this way too, because based on what you said, the people say, "Come over here, try this. This is so great for you." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, whatever." And like then they'll do the muscle test. They see you're weak now. Now you're strong. I'm like, that's so easy to manipulate. I'm not an idiot, okay? Like that's how I look at it. Like, so I definitely always skeptical. I'm always, they're always, if the family's always like, "Would you quit giving everybody a hard time?" So I tend to be that person. I'm not one of those like everything's a magical and beautiful all the time, and everything's perfect, and everything's magic. All these devices work, and I'm not that guy whatsoever. And so I had no preconceived notion when I got this pendant. But when I put it on, like I wear pendants almost I mean, during the work week, I wear one every day. And I have all different kind of ones. Not all of them have like so-called special technology. A lot of them don't, but they're all great. So, but this is the only one I've ever put on, that I've had that I mean, some of them I feel the shift for sure, but this was the only one where I really felt a real shift, especially the first time I put it on when you really notice it the most, right? You put it on, you're just like, wow, I just like dropped into my body like out of nowhere. Like, you know what I mean? Like all of a sudden it's just, so you're dropped in and grounded in a way that is automatic. Like it's just automatic. And so, it's one of the things I noticed right away. And then I just noticed my energy. It's not like you're incapable of being in a bad energy space completely. It just takes so much of the excess energy away that where you would be all like, "Ah," that stuff that comes up sometimes, right? So that's the other thing I noticed too. And so I just felt like immediately like you're upgraded, you're strengthened, you're grounded. And yeah, so that's what I could share so far. I mean, I don't wear it every single day, but it's definitely, one of my favorites now for sure. And that's what I've noticed about it is like a really honestly, maybe I ought to wear it every day because I've noticed like it really is it's really strong. Like I've worn all kinds of things over the years. I've been at this for decades. So and I feel the energy, but this has got something that's different. It's grounds you, but also elevates your energy at the same time, has been my experience with it. So yeah, I'm just authentically, I was like so happy about this show too, because I could so authentically testify to the benefit. So it's really great.
It's great to hear you talk about it like that because I also felt the same thing when I put it on for the first time. The,
Mhm.
I'm so with you. I have to say, I had tried so many pendants. Many of them had different effects. Like for example, some of them tested really well with me, and then all of a sudden it would stop working and make me feel bad.
Mhm.
Um, Other ones wouldn't work. Different ones would over energize me. Um, all sorts of things would happen. So I wasn't really open to the idea of a pendant in the first place. And so when my spirit guide says, "Oh, you're going to make a pendant," I wasn't like, "Oh, yay!" I was like,
Right, right,
"Yeah, I don't think
right,
so."
right, right, right,
I don't think that's the way I'm going here. And they're like, "No, no, no." And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "I'm saying no." Like, that's not
right,
going to happen
right,
because
right,
I've tried these pendants and they don't work. And then they started to share with me why this was going to be beneficial. And they shared with me that this is going to work like no other pendant has or can. You're going to be able to infuse the pendant with some energies, crystalline energies that are not visible, that are able to do additional things like release triggers when you feel it, or raise your frequency instantly, or ground you instantly like it does. And I didn't know if it was going to be beneficial or not. I just figured, okay, well, I'll just try it.
right.
I could just try it. And so I had the luxury of trying it as we created it. So I started out with just the selenite and the black tourmaline on the top, and that's what we started out with first. And then that was very, very helpful. But then I went and also started to put more of these crystals on there. So there was something called red spinel because the travelers told me that you need to put a red one on there that deals with fear. And I'm like, oh, good. What is it? And so they led me to a book that I had in my drawer. And I opened the book. There's only one red one, and it said red spindle. I said, I never heard of it. I have no idea what that even is. So I looked up red spindle and I actually found one. I was able to source it and I put it on the pendant next. Then I put on the labradorite, and that was pretty cool. But I kind of argued with the travelers a little bit. I said, well, selenite is very similar. It's like a quantum transformation kind of thing. They said, well, the labradorite and the selenite together will be what creates that shift when someone's feeling badly to bring them back to a good place.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that was a big thing for empaths. Empaths can be triggered by anything at any moment and then can stay that way for a long time. As I've shared with you, it has been that
Mhm.
way for me until dependence. So when I get triggered, I don't have to figure out how am I going to release it. It just releases.
Right.
And that's because of the labradorite. But then they said we're going to be also adding some blue chalcedony, and that was going to help with balancing your emotions and making you feel calm. And I remember what my coach. I have several coaches. One of my coaches, I sent him the pendant, and he was wearing it, and his daughter noticed that he was wearing this really cool pendant, and so he says, "Here, you could try it on." Well, you imagine what happened. He never saw it again. So she started to wear it, and she said, "It just makes me feel happy." This is like a 16-year-old, right? And
Yeah.
she's just so excited. She just put it on, and all of a sudden she says, I don't know, but I just feel so happy. And that
Right.
was an amazing learning for me, too, to see that it can affect people of all ages. It can really help you in your life and help you move forward. So if you feel like you're stuck and you can't move forward, these pendants really do have the ability to get you out of these negative areas, to raise that frequency. Now, think about frequency this way. If you are at a very high frequency and your, whatever you call it, depression, anxiety, or whatever, is going to be down here, they're not
Hmm.
going to meet. You
Hmm.
see?
Right.
Because
Right.
the problem is down here, but you're like way up here in the
Right.
goodness,
Right.
right?
Right.
But what happens is we kind of fall, we get triggered, something happens, and
Right.
we kind of meet the not so goodness, and then
Yes.
the pendant goes, wait a second, that's not good, and whoop,
Right.
and helps
Right.
you go back up.
Right.
And
Right.
one of the things that we have an issue with and why people have a lot of anxiety is because their trust level drops. So we have a level of trust in the universe. It's how much we trust that things are going to go okay in our life, that we feel, yes, I feel I can trust what happens. So if I've just triggered you, then you know that that might be a place for you to look. So when you don't feel like you can trust, you go into stress and anxiety. And if it gets really bad, you go into a panic attack. So the pendants actually literally raise your trust level by 75%, which is a really large amount
Right.
to raise. So if you're feeling like you don't trust enough in the universe, the pendants will help you do it. Now, remember that the pendants are a tool. They're vibrating like this against your body and your energy field all the time. And that vibration that's happening in the quantum field is creating an up leveling of you. So some people have said to me, well, Joshua, you're using a tool that's outside of you. Aren't we supposed to be using internal tools? And I also said that to the travelers when they said this. I said, why are we using something external? We need some internal tools. And and they were like, well, think about a dentist, they're not going to use tools, or
Right. Right.
think about the doctor, or think about
Right.
any kind of profession out there. They use some kind of a tool to help you.
Right.
This tool, though, works with your energy and creates permanent results. So it's not as if you're wearing the pendants and that you'll always need the pendants. It's that the pendants and you become one, and then you're able to utilize the pendants in any way that you need. But
Right.
the changes that you've experienced stay. So,
Right.
for example, I've been wearing the pendant for years now. So I can take my pendant off. I don't feel a difference between when I wear it and when I don't, because I've become the energy that the pendant has offered me.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah, that
that's
makes
pretty
total
cool.
sense. I mean, yeah, the idea of this is physical. It's, like, yeah, well, what's in the quantum, there's no difference between the physical and the so-called internal. I mean, so yeah, I mean, it's working on it with your energy. I mean, for me, I've had issues with the anxiety and stuff, yeah, all my life as well. I mean, I was always the shy, introverted kid, shy kid, wouldn't talk to anybody, more or less, and filled with anxiety. It's the guy that said I was telling people I could move things and blow things up with my mind when I didn't even know about such things when I was a kid, like when a teenager. And the psychiatrist says, well, that's very interesting. And right, it tells me I need medication, right? I mean, so I understand like that a lot of us look, and I was in such dark energy back then, like in terms of my energy, my mood. And I didn't know what was going on. I was just like, this is all a bunch of nonsense, this world. And so my point is, all my life I've dealt with, to this day. I mean, it's not like it's gone. Like, I gotta have no anxiety anymore. I'm good. Like, no, I still have that thing we call anxiety and stress. And, sometimes it seems like, wow, I'm better now. And then all of a sudden, sometimes it seems like, no, I'm not better now. And, I've been in very heightened states where nothing affects me for weeks, like the Sumadis, and all that. Like, I've transcended. then all of a sudden, oh, here it comes again, right? Another wave. So I think, yeah, the pendant, what it's doing, again, in my limited experience, it's a little bit newer to me still, but is again, like I believe in what you're saying. Like I'm skeptical, like you were, but I feel like it automatically helps you to reach a higher level of connection that, otherwise you have to, I gotta meditate again, really get that in. Yeah, you still do all that other stuff, but this automatically makes it everything just easier too. Like your access is just faster, it's easier. And again, I would be the first person to be like, yeah, do the inside work. It's all within. Why we don't need this outside stuff. Like I tend to be that type of person. And so for me to say that something that's pretty noteworthy for me to be able to say like, yeah, I really believe in this thing. This thing's awesome. I would definitely recommend it to anybody that felt called to get it, So I think that's
Great.
fantastic too that you followed your guidance, however it's coming to you with your guides and whatnot. Because there's so many bizarre things I've been asked to do in my life. I remember when I was really ungrounded, they told me to, well, put on some wet socks. That'll help you. I'm like, what are you crazy? Wet socks? How's that gonna? I put on the wet socks. I felt better. I feel like, no, I'm grounded now. And so many bizarre, but that's where we get caught up, where we get in our head. I'm going to plug your book here for a second because there's some really profound stuff. This book right here, The Ultimate Answer is Inside. So we're going to read a passage, if you don't mind, Joshua, for a second, real quick, because this is important. It speaks to what I'm leading into. So here you said in chapter 12, page 62, in my sessions with clients, the client would often go into their head, right? Go into their head, analyze, and often not realize it. Sometimes they would be thinking, am I doing this right? Is it working? Am I going to have an instant transformation? Is this working yet? What am I doing here? Why is this? Why isn't this working yet? Well, should I just give up now? They would sabotage themselves before they even got started, yet they often didn't realize it. And how often do we do that? People do that all the time around the world, right? So when we are in our head, we collapse into our current reality, mostly based on our old stories. We keep collapsing into the same old crap, right? Beliefs from our past that do not serve us, where quantum shifts and changes can't be made. And here's the thing. You would think the reason we go into our head, this is outside of the passage for a second, but it's going to lead into the last piece of this passage that I want to read. We would think when we're in our head, we're being smart, we're being really focused on making sure we're protected and safe, and that it's the right choice. It's the right way to go. You think it through, you make the right choices. That's the way to go. Well, guess what? It works as most things that come from your head. It's just the opposite of what your head is telling you. It sounds ridiculous to your head, right? It's just the opposite. You're less safe. And so you see here, it's not safe to make changes from this perspective from your head. So your body disallows any changes when you are in your head. And so I'll never forget this either, Joshua. I was at a high school reunion, and there was an old friend of mine there. He was blitzed out of his mind drinking, and I know his life wasn't probably in the best place, but pretty interesting person. But anyway, he understood this principle. He would kept going on to be like he's one of those people that lectures you even when you don't need it, right? He says, "If you're in your head, you're dead. If you're in your head, you're dead." He was said it 20 times that night while he was blitzed out of his mind. Like it's like yeah, maybe his way, I guess, is to drink more. Right? This gets me out of my head. I don't know. It's so funny. If you're in your head, you're dead. And so, like that has been my learning school too, because I like to be very mental, like you probably. I like to, let's think it through. It's so fun to be in my head. But when I let go of that and I let my chicken run dude or whatever, lead the way, I let it lead the way, man, my life is infinitely better and everything actually is more successful. So that's what I've learned, and that's what these technologies, what you're sharing does. What Dependent does. It helps you to get into that state, into that quantum state, where you're not relying on your head anymore and all these techniques all the time. You just are given this grace. Isn't it great that God, universe, whatever you want to call it, is giving you this thing that can help you automatically to go to this next frequency without you having to earn it or figure it out, but we don't always believe that like God's source would do that because we have to earn it as the old paradigm, right? No, you could just be given it if you allow it, right? So anyway, that's what I wanted to share. I got tons of ways to share, Joshua. That's how I roll on this show sometimes, but I'll leave it there. But like, I just really love that passage. It's the passage that jumped out at me when I was going through the book today.
That reminds me of the dog whisperer. Many years ago, I bought all the dog whisperer videos for me to work with my dog because I wanted to have a better relationship with my dog. I wanted to have my dog listen and all of that. And so I did. I followed everything that he said, and it really works. And my dog would be very calm with me in even a different way, like a different, like the dog would look at me for the next guidance for what we were going to do next, or whether we were walking or whether we were just sitting on the couch watching TV. The dog, I just felt like the dog had a new, relaxed understanding of life differently when I became in charge. And that was a good learning. And then I watched on TV, Oprah Winfrey, she had the dog whisperer come to her house. And before that, they were showing this video of Oprah, trying to get her dog just to sit. So I thought that was kind of funny because everybody was at the time was listening to Oprah, but her dog wasn't, So Oprah would say sit, and the dog was jumping around, going crazy. And so the dog whisperer came to the door and opened the door, and he just walked in, and the dog sat.
Instantly, yes.
He didn't even say sit. And the dog sat, and Oprah's looking like, what the hell is this? This is crazy. And so he explained that it's his energy,
Right.
energy. So think about the dog as being your mind, and the idea that when you allow the ego or the mind to become submissive, that's because you're not your head. You, the energy body, the body that you are of energy, says, wait a second, I'm in charge, not your ego. And so what ends up happening in that situation, when, just like the dog, that when the dog knows that they're not in charge, they're like relaxed and having a happy play day. And your mind does the same thing. So when you allow your mind to an ego to not be in charge, you say, wait a second, I got you covered, you're good. And then the ego stops. It says, wait a second, I don't have to do that anymore. And here's the great thing. It's the pendants that help you achieve that very, very quickly. So lots of people are in their head, and we've been taught that being in your head is safer. It's not, but it's what we've been taught. I also remember my own childhood where my dad said, think before you act, pay attention, right? What are we doing? We're training our kids to be in their head. What do we do when they get good grades? We praise them, but we don't praise our kids for being in a good, calm, amazing place. We praise our kids for being in their head. So it's not unusual for us to consider, oh, okay, that's what we've been conditioned to do, is be in our head. So when we work with the pendants get you out of your head, get you back into the body, get your ego to be more submissive, and you to literally be in charge. And one of the things that it does is it holds energy frequency. So one of the things that Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about is that the monks, they would use crystals in their temples wherever they were doing the chanting. So they would chant and chant and chant and chant and chant and chant and chant, and they would get into these really amazing altered spaces, and they would feel really good. And what would happen is the crystals would hold that frequency even when the monks stop or even leave. So when you go into the space of that temple where they were doing that experience, you can feel the energy of the monks there because the crystals were holding that energy. This is what the pendant does. The pendant is crystal, and the crystals, all different, work in superposition of each other and create many different opportunities for you in your life. And so that's why they're not touching. There's a very specific way that is designed for that reason. And the power of this is to realize that that when you have an experience, like let's say you go into meditation or you raise your frequency, it remembers it for you, so that when you need that, you can just connect to it, and all of a sudden it brings you there instantly, just like the monks when they were there and you went into that space, except for that you don't have to go into a specific space. The space is right around your neck. It's right here with you all the time. And the other great thing about this, it's really powerful, that's similar, is that after wearing the pendants for 24 hours, and that means sleeping with the pendant on and everything, you then have a different connection to the pendant. And you start to create a field above you or around you that is called a morphic field. And a morphic field is an energy field. And Dr. Bruce Lipton says it's what you don't see. That's the magic. That's the power. We need to be looking at the things that we don't see and learning from those things. And so this morphic field is around you. That's why the pendants work so effectively, because it's not just the pendant anymore. It's you, the pendant, and the field it's creating with you. And so when you create that field of higher frequency, you create that field of more groundedness, of more openness, you literally start to shift within yourself so dramatically that you become in your power. I remember one of my students, she had bought the pendant, and she said, well, before she said anything, her issue was that she was so in her head. It was not good. She was like, you need to save me from my head, basically.
Right.
And
Right.
so she wore the pendant and she felt, wow, that made such a huge difference in my life. And the students in the classes she was in with me were noticing that she was having a change from when she was in the class before to when she got the pendant. And so then she bought another one. And she said, ever since I bought the second pendant, although the first pendant was amazing, but when she bought the second pendant, it was even more so that she got out of her head and she got into her body. And now when people see her, they look at her in awe of her transformation. Now she actually does sessions for me. She's a certification student and she's not in her head anymore. She's now teaching other people and helping other people do what I do.
Right.
Pretty
Right.
amazing. Pretty amazing.
That is amazing. Yeah. I mean, again, it's like the mind thinks everything's infinitely complex, right? Like, oh man, we got some deep stuff to do. We got to go to therapy for many, many decades or years. I remember the psychoanalysis I went to briefly because I was asked to go to it. So I did. And yeah, they're like, it's like a club. It's like we're going 3 to 5 times a week, and we're going to keep at it for at least 10 years. And that's the treatment plan. And I'm not saying there's no value in it. It's just like, it doesn't have to be. So, you don't have to wait that long to get these deeper, profound changes. I mean, that's all. I mean, there's much more efficient ways to get there. I mean, I look at everything as you can choose however you want to do things. But if you want to, go to a higher level, with more ease, grace, right? Get into that state of connection where you're operating from the quantum field more, then you gotta take advantage of these things. You gotta be hanging out with Joshua. You gotta be hanging out with the Benda. You gotta be hanging out with the ultimate answer is inside book, because this has got encoding. I felt it right away. I mean, nobody has to tell me what's in it. I can feel it, right? So you read in here, and the way this book is constructed too is brilliant. It's got Dr. Bruce Lipton and many other teachers. We got Donna Eden in here. We got Bernie, my friend Dr. Bernie Siegel. Oh my God, so many amazing people that are in here, and it's woven in a quantum way. You can't understand it until you read the book, and even then your head won't understand. You'll be like, why is this book written this way? This is a weird way to write a book, because that's the whole point. So it's the ultimate answer. So you got to check it out, the book, and as well. So, but yeah, this is what's needed. I think, like, so many of us are looking to operate in the way you're talking about, and yes, dependent, and it's like, but then you have to actually there's more coaching ultimately still, though, because that's a great up level. That's a great, huge, massive step forward to do that. Then the coaching, I'm sure you give, and the healing you can do from there is really more accelerated and makes everything easier. And then it helps you to live, from that place of being in that quantum, I don't know what the word you use for it, but being that quantum creator, or what, I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
And the
Because
5D.
yeah, 5D, you can live at that 5D everybody talks about, and realize you can operate And I think so many of us want to trust. That's why I wrote a whole book about this that I never published, by the way. I don't know if I should have not, if I made the right choice there or not, but I called it Heal, Highly Evolved Actualized Living. It was all about, like, this is many years ago. This is back in the 2000s. It was about, really about, like, there's a way of, like, living that you are healed. Yeah, like you are in a healed state. You live in a healed state. And so we don't have, and then you're operating from this infinite intelligence that we are, rather than, trying to figure things out and trying to fit in with everybody, right? So when you act in these ways, currently you will not fit in still. You'll be say, oh, he's a strange one. Yeah. And she's a strange one, the way she does things. Yeah. We've got to become the strange ones. We have got to be those people. We got to put 10 of these pendants on here if that's what it takes, because honestly, because you've got to get over it. Realize your freedom is outside of the paradigms you've been sold, So that's what I get passionate about on the show, especially with what you're sharing today. So
Absolutely. I feel what you're saying because it's so powerful when you realize what's possible. We're really looking at trying to fix issues or trying to resolve problems or not feel badly that day. But there's more to life than that. Life is so powerful that you can create another dynamic, another way of looking at things, a way of being in a sense can be the way that you live your life rather than a way of doing, because that's our mindset, right? Our mindset is about what do I need to do? But in quantum energy transformation, we talk about who do you need to be in order to do what you choose to do. It's a very different energy for that, because when we work at those higher levels of change, we create amazing shifts. And so in quantum energy transformation, we work with the pendants to allow you to make these shifts that are beyond what you think is possible. I remember talking to that lady that I told you that now works with me, helping my clients and students, and she has really had such a big shift in her experience that I asked her, so what was it like for you to have these changes? And she said, I never imagined that I would have changes at this level in my life. I never thought this was even a possibility to have transformed and to evolved at this level in her life at all, in this lifetime. And I feel much the same. Since the pendants came along and I worked with quantum energy transformation with the pendants, my life has literally gone from a very difficult place to me being in my power and living life from a very different perspective than I ever thought that I would. I never believed that I was going to get rid of the anxiety. I don't know anybody who really believes they are. When somebody has a problem, they typically think, well, I'll never get rid of this. I'll never heal, or somebody else can heal, but probably not me. Well, that was me. that was me saying those things all the time. No, it's not going to work. And here's a great thing is your belief has nothing to do with it. I know a lot of modalities say, well, you have to believe it to achieve it. That's all hooey. We don't believe it to achieve it thing with quantum energy transformation. Whether you believe it or not, science works the way that it works. Just because you don't believe it doesn't change the science.
The science still works. Well, I also, people say it's all in your subconscious mind and all that. There's truth to that. And the thing is, though, it's being transmitted. We don't need to put people under hypnosis for these things. I'm a hypnotist. I have that background too. So, right, all us anxious people, like, put us under. Let's put people under. That's the way to do it. Okay. So, but we don't need that one because there is the quantum field, and so that which is emanating within that quantum field, within the quantum container, whatever you want to, again, however you want to put it, universal mind is another way I put it, universal subconscious, it happens. So in other words, you don't even have to, you're right, you don't have to believe it. There can be just a sliver of an opening for it whatsoever, and it's going to get in. Yeah, it'll get in for your highest good, obviously. But that's how the negative energy works too. If there's a sliver opening, there's negative energy just up there. We got an opening. We're in. And so, this is what helps that to shift, is that it can't find the in, oh, let's find someone else that's more receptive for that energy, right? And it goes out that way. But ultimately, I mean, it disperses. Imagine everybody's got this upgrade, right? Then the energy just got to disappear or go somewhere else, another planet, maybe. I don't know, but like, got to find another expression. Maybe he has a higher calling, even. That's what I believe. A lot of the healing that I do too, I help people see like these energies are actually trying to help you evolve ultimately. But that,
Exactly.
a lot of times that's a lot of work and it's a lot harder to do for some of us. So yeah, I would really love for you to share more with people, because honestly, we went on and on about this dependent and everything. I'd love for you to share more, if it's okay, Joshua, now, for you to share more about how people could take advantage of getting the dependent for themselves, if you want to tell them about it.
Sure. Let me go ahead to this page here. Oops. Can you see it now?
Yeah, it's coming up. So those are on video. You'll be able to see this. If not, you can always check us out on YouTube to see it. So, or just go to the link that we're going to give you, of course.
Awesome. Well, it says one super simple and powerful quantum tool totally changes the lives of empaths, intuitives, and energy workers forever. Boost your vibration, detach entities, ground your body, supercharge your energy. It's amazing. Also, align to your greater inner purpose, manifest your best life, evolve into who you're capable of becoming, transform in the quantum field to create any possibility. Protect yourself from psychic attacks and entities. Ascend to the highest energy frequencies possible. And we do that, and become confident and unstoppable. And like I said, that's a pretty tall order there to say become confident and unstoppable. But the key to it is to realize that most people don't believe that they're going to achieve. They want to. It would be great if it happened. But they don't believe it necessarily, and that's okay, because I didn't either, and it still worked. And that's the power of the work that we do here. It doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. I already went through my story, so I'm just going to pass through that. You can see here that there is a wire on the back. This is fairly new to our pendants. We had put a copper wire on the back to really increase the ability of these pendants. So now they're much stronger and more powerful. And you can see how beautiful they are. They're quite beautiful. And there's a couple bonuses that come with this, by the way. First of all, you get to enter my Quantum Shift Mastery Mastermind class with a 1 free month membership. So you get to come in every single week for a live call, and I'm going to help you in that call to understand how to use your pendants and all of that. In addition to that, you're going to get the Ultimate Answers Inside ebook. You're going to get the full color version, so you'll be able to read the book, which is pretty awesome. You're also going to get the QET pendant ebook as well. There's an ebook for the pendants that tells you the whole story of how they were created and gives you tips and tricks on how to use the pendants, which is pretty awesome. But you're also going to be able to work with me directly inside of the Quantum Shift Mastery program, as I mentioned here before. That's like priceless right there, to be able to come and work with me. But in addition to that, I'm going to give you 4 pre-recorded Quantum Shift Mastery classes as well. And in those classes, especially the very first one, I teach you how to use the pendant and use it with quantum commands, so that you can actually use a quantum command to change your energy instantly. I teach you how to raise your energy frequency to 10,000 hertz energy frequency or higher, which is literally really high. Okay. Most people are not going to those frequencies, by the way. And I also teach you how to raise your trust level and so much more. Those are just like the top 3 things I do, but I help you so much more with them. As you can see, the pendants are created with black tourmaline, red spinel, labradorite, blue chalcedony, and selenite. And it's self-clearing. You never, ever, ever need to clear or charge your pendant. Now, I know people like to put them in the moon or the sun or clean them off with water, whatever. You don't have to do any of that. There is no maintenance with this pendant at all. It is self-clearing. It's designed that way, and it always works. It's pretty amazing. You can eliminate fear, resolve trust issues, embody deep grounding. It does it very, very fast. And that's what really changed my life. I already told you that story there, so we're going to pass the Dr. Bruce Lipton thing. You can see how it looks right there, the back and the front. It's now 60% more powerful. As I told you, we put this black copper on the back. Not black copper. We put this copper wire on the back to really assist and help with bringing that frequency up even higher. And in addition, I infuse it with additional crystalline energies that you can't see, that aren't on there, like physically. They're on there energetically. That's why it works so fast and works so powerfully because of that. It's pretty amazing. And this is the lady I was talking about, Julie Lowry. She was the person who, when she first got a pendant, changed her life. When she got the second one, wow. Watch out, world. Here she comes. And she's
Right.
already evolved. Think about that. She took my certification program and she's now working with people as a certified master coach in a year. You can't start a program. If you want to be a nurse's assistant or you want to go and get any career, there is no do it only for a year. There's like 4 years when you go to college, right? To do your master's, you got to go to at least 2 or 3 years of that. So in just a year, she was able to evolve so quickly that she was able to now work in quantum energy transformation as a practitioner, and not just as a practitioner, but a master practitioner. So pretty amazing stuff. This is the girl I told you about, Savannah. She just says, I just love the pendant. It makes me feel so good. So Silvana, she has had a really powerful experience with the pendants. When she first got the pendant, it came in the mail and she put it on and she wanted to do this forgiveness process. Now, she's done this forgiveness process for years. She knows how to do it. She's very good at doing the forgiveness process. And how her forgiveness process works is that you do it several times over and over and over and over and over and over again until one person is forgiven. When she put the pendant on and then she did the process, she only did it on one person. However, she started to realize very quickly that she didn't have to do it over and over. She only did it one time. And then in addition to that, which is so amazing, other people were also automatically forgiven that she didn't even think she did. So every time she would like call up the next person and see that they were already forgiven. And then she called up the next person and they were already forgiven. She says, wait a second. This process takes several times, but with the pendant must have supercharged the experience. And it did. So whether you work in quantum energy transformation, my modality or any modality, it will increase your chances of getting very fast results. Mm-hmm. And so say yes to success, experience quantum, and reach 1,000 plus hertz frequency. Now we're doing it at 10,000. I have to change that.
Update it, yeah.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
Immediately you can reach 10,000 hertz energy frequency.
So you're You're actually underselling on the page. Right?
Well, you'll at least be able to hit 1,000, but I show you in the videos how to reach 10,000 hertz energy frequency. And in my classes, we're going well beyond that, which is pretty amazing. And then of course, there's a satisfaction guarantee with it. It's just amazing. So
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Guaranteed you'll experience the shift. Guys, I received this quite frankly as a gift, and in all transparency. And when I got it, I was just like, wow, this was generous, But first of all, so thank you, Joshua. And then so I had no pre-thoughts about all this. Like I wasn't like, oh, well, I think it'll work, or I think it won't work, or even what it was supposed to do. Even I just put it on, and immediately I felt the shift. So that was to show you it's not like one of those things like, well, you just had the belief in it, so it works. Because I used to be that person. You just think it works. It's not doing it's not doing what you think. It's just your belief, and it's like that's not my experience of this at all. If anything, again, I would have been like, yeah, whatever, this thing, it ain't gonna do nothing. So I just put it on, and I was like, first I looked at it, I'm like, I think if anything, I was a little bit skeptical. I was just like, well, looks kind of cool though, like, and so then I put it on and I was like, wow, I'm surprised. I could feel this right away. And so yeah, I can't recommend that you go ahead and take advantage of it, especially with the, extra bonuses are great. I mean, because I said, like, yes, like, okay, like, imagine, like, automatically people are having all these shifts and see how they can evolve their healing process and so much more, and rapidly advance in their career and business pursuits as well. I'm sure, like we heard about the one case. So all those things are possible just with the pendant. Then you get coaching on top of it. Now imagine what's possible, right? So, yes.
This is really a no-brainer. I invite you personally into my class to experience quantum energy transformation using your pendant. It is so powerful. I mean, we went from having, we work with the quantum field, so it's pretty fast in general. So we're going, I'd work with a student in like 10 to 20 minutes, we'd shift something, right? Now
Mm-hmm.
we're shifting things in like 2, 3 minutes in the class. It doesn't take 10 minutes anymore, and or even longer, right?
Right.
It's just very fast, and it moves so fast because the way that the pendants work, they supercharge whatever you're working on and make it so much easier. And there's no effort on your part, just put it on,
Yeah.
That's really not a lot of work there.
Okay, so everybody, if you want to take a closer look at it or take advantage, go to iqet.com/rockstar, iqet.com/rockstar, or, you'll find the link right in the show notes. Assuming you're somewhere where there's show notes, because not every platform has them. But if you go there, then you'll be able to see this opportunity. And yeah, I mean, either you feel it or you don't. You got no. Again, if you've already poured thousands of dollars, or tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands of dollars searching for answers, this is a no-brainer at 197, right? So, and it's guaranteed. So you have absolutely nothing to lose. And I bet you, I am pretty sure, like, once you actually get it, I want you to go ahead and feel free to reach out to me. Just go to our website and send us through the contact form. Tell me how grateful you are. Like, just tell me, and go tell Joshua too as well. But I'll forward it on to him. Tell me how, because you're going to be grateful. You're not going to be disappointed. You're going to be very happy, and that much in fact, I'll even say this. This is one of those offers where I can personally guarantee. I've done this maybe one other time in my whole life. I personally guarantee it so much that, I'd be willing to say, like, I'll give you your money back on top of whatever they would do, right? If you're not satisfied. That's how confident I am that you will feel a difference. You'll feel a shift, like, right away. So take advantage of it. iqet.com/rockstar. iqet.com/rockstar. All right. Okay. So, Joshua, this show is just flying along at quantum pace. So here we are. And I would love to just go ahead and share some quantum stuff with you. We've got our energy scan segment on tap. Are you ready to receive some downloads?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and just share a couple things. Now, everybody, again, because we are in the quantum, whatever I say for Joshua somehow connects to you, right? So so let's see what comes through. Okay. Give me one moment to just tune in. And of course, it's 10 times faster with the pendant, right? Anyways, that speed isn't my issue. I just like to get centered. Okay, let's see. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. And yeah, that's fantastic. And that's wonderful. Okay, so many things right away, but yeah, I mean, you definitely have some of that, like, you have this ability to it's no wonder you're a strong speaker. You have the openness in that throat chakra, for example. But you come from definitely you seem like an Arcturian type, right? Like, you're here to make what seems not real or practical and all this sort of thing. And So this lifetime, really this being in this body and in this humanness is very awkward for someone like you. You're like, what are we doing? Like this body, what is this body thing? And like, so you probably throughout your life have had, some issues with your body and being in a body, is what they're showing me. And, but you have like this high access IQ that you've always had. So sometimes you just have like these instant answers for people and they're like, what, how did you come up with that? I don't know what just came to me. I don't know. Right. So I just see like that access is so fast and so good for you. So I can imagine that would really serve you as a healer and as a coach really powerfully. The access and the access through the throat, sometimes, yeah, it's been hard to show up or speak up at times, but once it's always been there. It's the ability to show up in a powerful, strong way. And then it's just a matter of, in the power center, it's really like you've got a lot of power, so to speak, that you can transmit and make things happen, so to speak. There, I could see the potential for even more upgrading. We all can upgrade more, but I could see where we get the energy moving, where you're grounded, but the energy is moving even faster. Like even more could be possible. Is what I'm getting, because there's a heaviness with it. It's like kind of an anchor to keep you more in your body, in the body, because part of your energy just wants to be out of the body. But with everything, the pendant and everything, but like yeah, that anchor that in there is keeping you more grounded, but could be shifted, transformed more, so more energy could move faster through you, and you'd really enjoy it and bring even more. You could reach even more people, so to speak. All the things could happen even more. So that's something I noticed there too. So lots of things we could share. That's a few things that were coming through. Any quick reflections, Joshua, what came through?
Well, thank you. That was very interesting because I find all of that to be right on for me. There is a lot more to come. As I started my quantum shift mastery class like 4 years ago, and it's still going strong because we're evolving as we go. And what you just said was that there's like everything could be more, and I really feel that. I feel that I've only hit the tip of the iceberg here, and there's a lot of amazing things happening.
Oh
And
yeah,
my
totally.
students stay along for the ride for a long time because we are all getting the benefit of all of that that's coming through. And it's changed my life and the lives of everybody. So what you're saying really resonates with me greatly.
Oh, awesome. That's always great to hear the confirmation. So everybody, if you want to check me out, you can also go to yoursacredpurpose.com. You can get a cool little meditation from me, which is really encoded with some stuff too. Meditate and make money. So it just puts you in a great energy and gets you connect with your guides, get your downloads for the day, on your path of what wants to happen in your business as a light worker, as a healer. And then also there's the opportunity to get energy scanning there as well with my Rock Your Sacred Purpose energy scan consultation. Take a look at your energy, see what wants to be maximized in your energy field for more results, and as well. And yeah, I also teach people how to do the energy scanning as well. So we'll put a link in the show notes as well for you. But yeah, that you can go ahead and check this out, see how you can access the quantum through your own intuitive psychic gift set. Boy, I don't know if I'm getting that much. I am intuitive in the past, but I don't know how much I'm getting or if I could do it to be confident. Well, in one day we could change all that. So just go ahead and check out one of our preview calls for the training for energy scanning, and the rest is history. Let's energy scan up the world and bring the healing and bring the quantum healing and all the different healings that we bring, and upgrade everything. So anyway, Joshua, I'm just really grateful for you being on the show today. There's been an amazing time together. Do you have any last final words for everybody?
Yeah, I would say anything is possible. Allow yourself to move forward, allow yourself to step up. It's a new year, it's a new possibility, a new beginning right now. And this is your opportunity to step into your life in a way that will rock your life. Live your life as if you were amazing as if you were outrageous, as if anything were possible, and then see where that goes. That's my
Yes. Oh, I love
message for
it.
today.
So thank you so much, Joshua. It's been an absolute pleasure, amazing ride together today on the show today. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It was awesome.
And for everyone else, keep on tuning in, and we'll keep on rocking it here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Till the next time.
For listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.